We thank God Most High for the opportunity given us to once again share His word with His people. Today we are talking about the subject Jesus meant it for good. Jesus meant it for good. If you read Genesis chapter 37 from verse 18 to 36, the Bible talks about how the brothers of Joseph conspired to kill him and later sold him to some Ishmaelites and later sold to Potiphar, all because he had a dream. And the dream was that he saw the moon, the sun, and 11 stars all bowing before him. And as a result of the vision, the dream that he had, his brothers conspired to kill him. They called him the dreamer. He found himself in the house of Potiphar because of the presence of Joseph. Potiphar's house began flourishing. And yet again, Joseph faced the temptation from Potiphar's wife wanting to have an affair with him, which he rejected. Afterwards, he found himself in the prisons, but because the favor of the Lord was upon him and God was with him, he found favor even among the prison officers and his colleague prisoners. Finally, he came out and became the right-hand man of King Pharaoh because God gave him the extraordinary wisdom to interpret his vision and dream. And if you read Genesis chapter 50 verse 20, when there was a great famine in Israel and his brothers came to Egypt for food, he recognized them, he served them, and later he revealed himself to them that I am your brother, Joseph, whom you sold. You wanted to kill and later you sold. And after revealing himself to them, his brothers started pointing, accusing fingers to one another. And then Joseph, the man filled with the Spirit of God, said, now stop accusing yourselves. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. God knew that a day will come that we are going to experience such a great famine in Israel. And that is why he brought me here, so that in a day like this, God will use me to save you. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. If we read Exodus chapter 2, from verse 11 to verse 15, the Bible talks about Moses one day visiting his brothers Israelites in Egypt and realizing that one Egyptian was trying to kill or to beat his brother Jew. He fought that Egyptian and killed him and hid him under sun. The next day, Moses was going around and he saw two Jews fight this time around. They were fighting among themselves. And then he intervened and said, don't you know that you are brothers? Why are you fighting? Then the one who was at fault said, who has appointed you a judge over us? Do you want to kill me just like you killed the Egyptians the last time? And as a result of that expose, Pharaoh wanted to lay hands on Moses. Moses left Egypt to the Median land. But in the face of his escape, if we read Exodus chapter 3 from verse 1 to 10, there was a great encounter between Moses and the Lord in the wilderness, where God appeared in his glorious fire. The Israelites who exposed Moses for killing the Egyptian thought that he was saying something that the people will use against him and kill him. He didn't know that that expose was going to bring something great out of Moses. When Moses left Egypt and went to the Midian land, he had a great encounter of himself. Jesus meant it for good. Men may meant it for evil, but Jesus meant it for good. If we read 1 Samuel chapter 16 from verse 1 to verse 11, the Bible talks about Samuel the prophet going to anoint one of the sons of Jesse because the Lord had dethroned King Saul. He asked Jesse to bring all the sons so that he could anoint one of them. When he brought all of them, the earthly ones, and the prophet said, no, none of these ones has the Lord appointed. And he asked Jesse, is that all? Don't you have any other son again? And he said that the youngest, there's a youngest who is in the wilderness. They sent Moses to the wilderness because he was the youngest. They sent Moses to the wilderness to go and look after the flock because he was the youngest. Not knowing that in 1 Samuel chapter 17, from verse 32 to verse 37, God was using the wilderness to prepare him. In the wilderness, he was fighting lions and bears. And when the time came for him to fight Goliath, he stood in front of King Saul and said, when I was shepherding my father's flock in the wilderness, I was killing lions and I was killing bears. Will God not turn this uncircumcised Philistine as one of the lions and the bears that I killed? Wow. God meant it for good. The wilderness that David found himself was a preparatory grounds, was a place of preparation. God meant it for good. His brothers, his father perhaps, might think that sending him there was a way of punishing him. Sending him there was a way of demeaning him because he was the youngest. But God meant it for good because God was using that place as a point of preparation for a greater future for David. If we read John chapter 11 from verse 1 up to verse 57, the Bible talks about Jesus resurrecting Lazarus from death. And after that, the Pharisees conspiring to take the life of Jesus because he had done good to Lazarus. They wanted to kill him. In fact, at a point in time, if we read Matthew chapter 27 verse 21, when they put him before the king Pontius Pilate, he told them, I have two people, Jesus and then Barabbas, the notorious criminal. Which one should I give you? And which one should I kill? They chose the notorious criminal over the Messiah, all because they thought they were killing Jesus, all because they thought they were doing evil to Jesus. But in Mark chapter 10 verse 45, the Bible talks about the fact that Jesus used his life for the ransom for many. When the people thought they were killing Jesus, when the people thought they meant something bad, they meant something evil for Jesus, they wanted to finish him, they wanted to bury him alive, he meant it good. He was using his life as a ransom for many. You may be going through a lot of issues. Some people are conspiring against you. Some people are even targeting your life. Some people are even on hunger strike because they don't want you to succeed in life. If you sit down, assess your life, and know that you have not committed any crime, there's no evil in your deeds, then you should know that what they are doing, they may think, they may feel, they may mean evil for you, but God means it positive. God means it positive. God means it positive. Jesus means it good for you. Thank you, Lord.